Okay, I'm opening the floor to questions. Any questions?
I was just wondering, for Matternet, what's the primary challenge? Is it getting batteries to the locations, for example? Or is it something else?
Andreas?
Hi. The primary challenge that, as we see, is making those vehicles reliable enough in all sorts of weather conditions to allow us to really depend on them as a tool. So we are focusing on basically creating a very low-cost vehicle that has extreme sort of level of reliability by still keeping the cost dramatically low. Currently, we're focusing on vehicles of that cost around $5,000. They have a lifetime of about 3 years. So we're able to achieve what we call extreme reliability. We think that this will really become a sort of tool that can be relied upon for transportation of small packages. Then there's other challenges that are around it. Extending the range of those vehicles by using interesting battery technologies is one of them. But really, as far as the key challenge, I think, is really because a number of issues springs upon it, including how we operate in different countries, through permits by the regulators and so forth.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions?
Regarding the operation of drones, have you encountered any specific local government regulation that stopped you from working? And if so, how did you manage to solve this issue?
So autonomous flight operation using a small vehicle like this, an autonomous vehicle like this, is not permitted within long ranges in any country in the world today. There is a big overhaul in current regulation that is led by the American authorities, the so-called FAA, Federal Aviation Authority, and then the international chapter of the UN that attaches to it, that then informs all the regional authorities. So, in principle, you're not able to do the things that we want to do with this technology. What we found in practice, though, is that we've been in talks with 3 countries, in the Dominican Republic and in Haiti, and also in Sub-Saharan Africa, and we've been embraced by regulators, and in fact we're given permissions to do trial operations in that region. So the way that we interpret that is that people see the potential of this technology to really help, and they're willing to open the door to someone who's willing to try it in their territory. Of course, there's nothing that guarantees that if we're going to scale this to a much bigger scale, this will continue to exist. So we need to basically continue to work with regulators as we roll this out. But the initial indications have been very positive.
Hi, my name is Neeraj Soni from Microland. This is a question to both Rajesh and Jaideep. In your experience, in terms of the enterprises in the Western world vis-a-vis what exists in India, is there a real focus on spending money where innovation is concerned?
You want to take that first? It depends upon what you qualify as spending money. Most of the organizations have their own research budgets, which they would be putting into specific areas which are of interest. So I would say the answer is yes, that yes, there is a focus on spending money. Now we can always qualify and say whether that is always enough or not enough. But if there is a strategic focus of the organization and the organization puts in money and puts its bets out there in terms of long-term value creation, you tend to get results around that.
The second part of the question, do you think research and development and innovation go hand in hand, or innovation is actually a specific focus
It's not different. It is research is maybe one of the elements on the overall subject of innovation. Because when we talk about research, the tendency is that you start thinking about your immediate products and services. Whereas innovation is a wider subject which deals not only with product services, it also deals with innovation in the way we do things, innovations in the business model. So innovation is much wider a subject. Research is primarily these days, or has been, more to do with the current set of products and services, and maybe, moving ahead on that. How can we make that product better?
I mean, I can add a few things to this question. One is that India as a whole doesn't spend very much on R&D, and the corporate sector spends less relative to the government, and the government doesn't spend much. So now that's regarded by many people as a flaw in the Indian system, or a drawback. But I think the point you're making is a very good one. That is, R&D is neither necessary nor sufficient for innovation to happen. And really what matters, both at the economic level, social level, and at a company level, is innovation. That is, products or services that actually generate revenues or reduce costs and transfer some of those benefits to people. So in the Indian context, what you see really is this frugality, which means that there's much less investment in technology for its own sake, especially relative to advanced economies. But a lot of the innovation that you see is not around so much the technology, because they may use existing technologies, but it's to leverage what's there already to deliver a product or service at a lower cost. And that's where the business model innovation becomes very important. And you saw a lot of the examples I gave you, there was no new technology as such. They were leveraging existing technology. But the innovation or the new idea that was delivering some benefit was how the system was organized, the way they used local people to deliver things and to breach the last mile problem that this gentleman talked about. So that's what you see in India, and I think that is one of the remarkable features of the Indian approach, which also makes it frugal.
Can I also add one more thing, Jaideep? This is something that we have learned from Professor Clayton Christensen. He says the background for innovation is, what is the job to be done? What is that unmet need? If we all people and parts of organization can understand what is that unmet need and what is the job to be done, there'll be far more innovations that happen. Currently we say, okay, here is a microphone, can we make a better microphone? Can we have a cordless, can we have something else? So we keep on looking at that. But if we sometimes get down to the fundamentals, what is the basic job to be done? What is the job? What is that unmet need? Because there are so many unmet needs today that exist. We are not able to articulate them. But when we see a new iPhone or a new iPad, we never wanted it, but it's serving some parts today. And then probably everyone has an iPad and an iPhone and various gadgets like that.
Just one final comment, which is slightly contradictory to your first statement, because what Steve Jobs did was not a requirement, but the need was created. That's part one. Second part is, I think if I connect the dots between what Jaideep has said in terms of frugal, flexible, that means that the culture of innovation is more important than the investment part of it. I think that is what is coming out very clearly.
True, you're right. Culture of innovation is more important.
Yeah.
Whether it links with frugal innovation or whether it links with any other kinds of innovation.
And that goes back to the point about R&D, because you can have companies that spend a lot on R&D, but they don't have a culture of innovation, so they're not able to convert those investments. And others spend much less, but they have a culture of innovation, and they're able to get returns on that spending.
Right, sadly, we've run out of time, but it's been a most interesting discussion. Thank you very much to our panel, and thank you to Andreas for getting up so early in the morning. Your time, we appreciate it.
Thank you.